Okay, we will go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is 6:10. And I believe everyone is here now. I will display or share the agenda, then I will take that down. Each of you should have a copy of that in your email. And my cat wanted to type with me, which is why you see my name the way it was. Sorry about that. So I'll take a minute to share the agenda. One moment. Can view that. All right. We need approval of the agenda items. Do I have a motion? Okay. Serena?
This is Serena. I move to approve the agenda.
And I second that. This is Jamie. Okay. Third item on the agenda is the board minutes from our January meeting. Those were also posted online. Did anyone note any edits that are necessary? Give it a moment. Okay. So we can put that on hold and check those again later. I do want to move forward with discussion of some important items and focus on that. I do not have a president's report tonight. I have been focusing on work, my new responsibilities and duties there. And it's taken a lot of time and energy. So I will move to the vice president's report. Sal, do you have a report?
I do not have a.
One moment.
Hi, this is Salvador Garcia, Vice President. I do not have a Vice President's report tonight. Just doing check-ins with the President and making sure that I am there to be supportive as needed. But so far, no, I do not have any updates.
And back to Tricia. Thank you, Sal. We will now go to Serena. Do you have a secretary's report?
Hi, yes, I do not have an official report, but I wanted to let you know that my term will be ending next year, I believe. We are limited to 3 two-year terms, I believe, or 2 3-year terms. I believe that's what it is. So I will be termed out soon. Just wanted to give you a heads up. We will be needing a new secretary.
Thank you, Serena. I appreciate the heads up. I do know that typically during community comments, we do vote in new people, and that might be a good time to seek out somebody who can potentially become our new secretary, and we can have that overlap to allow for a smooth transition of the responsibilities. And take several months to do that. But I definitely want to say thank you so much for your service to the board. You've served for a long time and been a tremendous support. When I first came in, it was quite challenging and I had a lot to learn. So I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And Tricia, continuing, anything else to add, Serena?
No, that was it.
Okay. We will now go to Steve Longo for the treasurer's report. And Steve, once again, will share the report that you might view it for a moment or two, and then we will take that down and then discuss that in summary.
This is as of March 31st. Do you want me to make it larger? Okay, just a second. Is that better? Is that better, everyone? Can you see it okay? Okay.
Yeah, there's some maybe that aren't able to see.
If I can go down to the bottom here. From July till now, I have another one, just one moment. Okay, this is updated. For the month of March, we are working on combining the format. We will fix that. I will turn off the share screen after we look at it and then talk in more detail about each line. I just wanted to give you a few moments to go ahead and read these. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn my share screen off. So the current balance for checking and saving, the total is $272,586.84 in the bank, in our piggy bank. That's what I like to call it. Now for grant money, we have $264,947 for grant funding, and that's not all the monies have not been given yet. Some come in different increments, and so Michelle can talk about that in more depth. For interpreting debts, $25,974.32. For a total of $390,070 and some change. The owed is a little over $11,000 and things that we still need to owe. That is for expenditures, AR things. For the board's private fund, we currently have $971. For the fund balances, it's $22,596.62 for the board totals. Profits and losses over the last month, this is in parentheses, it's 390, sorry, that is not including everything. It's $316,397.34. And that is in the black, not in the red. DSS funding. Wait, we're in the red? If it's in the parentheses, that means.
Yes, the parentheses means it is in the red, Michelle is indicating.
Okay. So Michelle can talk more in depth about that. Also for DSS, the state funding, DSS, we have, it's 2020, 2021, it's 1.62 million. Expenses $650,256 even. So the balance so far till June 30th of this year, we are following the fiscal year. So that is through June 30th. Money's left is $411,761 that must be spent. If there's any money left, it will go back to DSS. That's why it's so important that when we were working with Paul, he always made sure that we were down to zero and spent all of the money that we had. And he always did a great job at that. Now we need to make sure that we teach the new person how to do that as well. Are there any questions about my report?
Okay, back to Tricia. I did make some notes. Thank you, Steve, for that report. Anything anyone else would like to add? Michelle will go into greater detail when she provides her report. Give us one moment. And Michelle, when you're ready and when our interpreters are ready, Michelle, you can proceed.
All right, I'll go ahead and start with that and talk more about the Treasury report. As you know, Paul Barnett was with us for 30 years and he knew everything in and out. And so with his passing in December, we have experienced one of the biggest challenges that we've gone through as an agency, not just as losing a longtime employee, but also as losing our accountant. And so that means that in January, during the board meeting, we're talking with the CPA and they were overwhelmed with the accounting needs. They said that it was too much for him. He does have other clients. And so he referred us to 2 potential bookkeepers. We did interview both of them. One wasn't familiar with QuickBooks. And the other one, who Gary Piggott,
Assistant.
They have worked together for over 20 years with nonprofits and were very familiar with contracts and QuickBooks and the software that we use and the ethical accounting practices. So we went ahead and contracted with the 2 of them. And Gary said that we are like a startup agency at this point and that we needed to start from scratch. Because when we had Paul, he did a lot of things manually. And very little of his work was in QuickBooks, meaning that Gary, when he came in, it was almost, he came in blind per se. He had to dig through a lot of information, get a lot of things updated and in the system. So we just finished with the EDD invoice from last fall, and we finished with some of the grants billing from last fall. And next is the CDSS report. So we've had that on hold for a while, understandably so, because of the situations we've been going through when they've been aware of those. And they themselves don't do things as quickly either. So they were fine with that. So we wanted to make sure that everything that we have is up to date, because with EDD, we have to apply for that grant annually, and we don't want to hurt our chances of getting the grant next year. It's due May 14th. And so we just received news that we may have competition from CSD, Communications Services for the Deaf. They want the EDD grant in California, and we are saying no way. So now the Deaf Access Program is trying to prevent that from happening. And we are fighting for EDD funding in California because we are based here in California and CSD is not local. I think they're in Texas, which is where I think they should stay. Anyway, so Gary has been working with a management team to make sure that everything is updated, and it's been difficult. It's been a very difficult few months. There's been a lot of headaches. We've been trying to get payroll up online. The payment system is also becoming online. So it is a process, and it's coming along. But with Paul gone, that means that we've had to change over a lot of the names in the systems and in our accounts. And I was shocked that one of the facilities or one of the sites, the last name that was there was
Mr. Ho.
Mr. Ho, if you guys remember him. His name was still on the account. So we've been having to make a lot of those changes. And I had to go show Paul's death certificate to get the names changed for some of these accounts. But because of all of this too, we have been limited with the grant applications that we are able to do right now. We normally do apply for a lot, but we've suspended a lot of those because we wanted to catch up on our accounting first. The ones familiar ones, like the Fansler Foundation, of course, we apply for that because it's the same application, or even the Stephen Sun Philanthropy, we applied for that, but those two foundations are the same application. So DSS and the ROC program, of course, those are the same too. And all new ones, though, we've temporarily put on hold. Anything that's small, like the one Alex told me about, a really small grant, it was for $1,000. It was Resilia micro grant. Thank you, Alex, for that. We did apply for that. It was for $1,000. And if we get it, we will be using those funds as an incentive for the job fair to get people to participate. Also, Networking for Good. We applied for that. It's a $1,000 donation for the EDD funding. Again, that's due May 14th. And we just learned that PayPal, we applied as a charity for PayPal, which means that, you know how if you charge, they do take a percentage, but right now they will not be doing that, which is nice for charities. So there will be no more deduction fees. It will be an opportunity for people to donate money, and they will be able to use that list. So Gary's actually the one who told us about it. So it was nice just that he has that professional experience and was able to tell us about that as well. He is a certified bookkeeper. Now, for the agency updates, we again have been focusing on planning a variety of events virtually. Everything's been on Zoom. We have Family Day. We have Martha's Vineyard. And then we also have the Yes Job Awareness Fair. All will be held on Zoom. Family Day is going to be on the 24th, Saturday, April 24th from 1 to 4. We have the Martha's Vineyard event is May 1st, 1 to 4, also on a Saturday. And the Yes Job Awareness Fair is Saturday, May 15th. Tentatively. We are still getting a feeler out for students to know when they want to do that. A lot of students are starting to go back to school on campus, which means that there's going to be a lot of scheduling conflicts. Before, we tend to have it on a Friday afternoon, but now if everyone's back in school, we're not sure what those schedules will look like. So we are tentatively looking at May 15th, 1 to 3, and we'll do employment-related games. We want to just make something competitive, something fun for the students, and they can win a $25 Amazon Amazon gift card, for example. So students hopefully will join, and there are pros to cons of having it virtually. Of course, anyone, anywhere can join, which is great, but a challenge too is technology, because it's not the same, of course, as having the event in person. Martha's Vineyard will be very different. We are merging stations. So that means people will be able to click and join different stations. They'll watch performances, there will be different explanations. And then every station will be a half an hour, and then you will go into a different system, new station each time. So we're going to test it out and see how it goes this year, but it's important that we are still hosting events and that we are still saying, hi, we're here, making sure that people remember us. Also, we wanted to let you know that we were asked by CSDS when we're going to be going back to the offices, and it is possible that we will all be back by July 1st. But with the option of a hybrid schedule. So you could do 3 days in the office, 2 days from home, and we may be alternating, but we are not sure about opening up to the public. It really depends on the COVID variants and all of that. We may be open to the public in the fall. So more details to come, and we will keep you posted. And that was my report.
And for Martha's Vineyard, this is Steve. I believe you are aware that Convo has a blog message posted about Martha's Vineyard and the history of that. So that might be something you could incorporate in your advertisement for Martha's Vineyard. I'll send you that link.
Yes, any resources would be great. Thank you.
Yes, I use it for class too, but I can send that on to you.
And for those of you who teach, please encourage your students to attend for extra credit.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you. It's a free vacation island, right? Martha's Vineyard.
Back to Tricia. I do have a question in regards to Martha's Vineyard. Learning from my students, if they register and a student attends the event, and typically, you know, there is a place for the signatures and all of that, but I'm just wondering if there is some kind of documentation or something that can be produced, an email or something to verify their attendance. That is something I was wondering about. Just wanting to verify that they're not just there for 2 minutes and leaving.
This is Sal. I'm not sure if you have a system for who shows up and then you can email them after the event. It could be a simple paper, thank you for coming to Martha's Vineyard, to our virtual event. It could be something as simple as that. I'm not sure if you guys have access to that type of system to be able to email the people who did log into it.
Tricia? Alex is indicating we can have a list to sign in, and I think so far we've had 28, but I know that we will have more. But we can copy and paste that information and include that in an email and use a BCC as opposed to a group email, so that you maintain the privacy and for security reasons. Thank you for registering, blah, blah, blah. And know that their name would be included as part of the BCC list. And I think it's a pretty simple thing that we can do and then upload and send. And this is Tricia. The point being, where if the students register but don't show up, in terms of how they are actually going to earn the credit, that's what I'm trying to cover the bases with. Michelle, and then to Nicole.
Yeah, it's always been a challenge, even when in person. Some people do show up at the very beginning, take a picture with a staff member, and then leave. So at the beginning, we do have to say, please stay until the end of the event. But now with Zoom, we also want to be careful not to take pictures because there might be kids on the screen and all of those other privacy issues. So it's always been a challenge. If we want to write something specific, maybe they can write something about what they learned, something how we can confirm, and then we can confirm with you if that actually happened or not. But I will warn you that students will unfortunately find a way to kind of cheat the system. And some students had teachers had students take pictures of the event, and the person was actually sitting in the picture had passed away. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but there was somebody who said, no, that person wasn't at that event, and that student got in trouble and got an F. But just right, students are creative, and hopefully they will be there.
Yeah, that's an idea. Nicole.
Yeah, I was going to think the same thing. I was going to ask if, based on different events, you could talk about what you learned or what the different, takeaways were. Just something. I'm sure with Zoom too. I think the same thing could be true in a Zoom meeting, but it'd be something for the teachers to look for later.
Okay, thank you. Michelle, anything else you need to add?
No, my report was short and sweet, to the point. I just want to say that for our bookkeeping, we are hoping that we are caught up by the end of the fiscal year, and we are doing the best we can.
Understood. We will hope right along with you. Taking a look, one moment.
One more thing about that in terms of the event or for webinars, I would like to let you know that I would like to work with Alex. What's your name, Simon? I would like to work with Alex. I'll follow up with him in terms of webinars and different systems and see if we can have an update for you at the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay. And back to Tricia, we do not have a fundraising report, but we are thinking and considering the possibility of ordering food, and maybe for a choice of restaurants, we're not sure which yet, and putting up some money, maybe like the board and DHHSC. We're still working on that. Summertime, I think, would be great. People tend to eat out more in the summertime. Some type of fundraising event revolving around food. If you have an idea, feel free to email me. Let me know so we can consider those. We do need to generate funds. COVID has created a huge setback, which is completely understandable, but we need to look forward. We don't want to look back. We want to move forward. We're now at the point on the agenda for the general board comments, and I'd like to seek out any general board comments. Nicole.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much time we have left, but one concern is making sure that we have time to talk about, like Michelle was just talking about, sorry, the thing that was just sent out, I think maybe it's just sent out via email.
Yes, that's actually under new business, and we will discuss that. Excuse me, not new business, my correction, unfinished business.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. I wasn't sure where it was.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll be there soon. Other general board comments at this point? We will go ahead and move forward to unfinished business. And we just got our last copy from Michelle, so everyone can take a look at that, the last copy of the bylaws. And so far, I'm thinking that we will probably have to update things just a little bit moving forward as we move through the year, review those things and make sure that they are up to date for the future. That is part of our strategic plan as well. So we will continue to take a look at that, but I would like to submit them to a neutral group or a neutral person to review and provide feedback, be able to clean that up. I think it's a great opportunity to have someone from the outside take a look at the bylaws, evaluate them objectively. We don't always see things with that same objectivity. So I'm thinking we can get that done, have that review completed through the summer, and then bring that to the community in August. That is my thought process.
This is Steve. One concern I have is about the time frame. Michelle had asked for that, for the bylaws to be completed and up to date. And she needed specific things to be met by a specific time. So I wanted to make sure that if we get these changes, that we can still go ahead and meet the grant's expectations. And other changes we could take care of later. Right now, though, I think we should just need to make sure that we change what we need to change to meet their expectations, and we can still honor all of that at the same time. And then we can work on the other stuff at another time. But I want to make sure that we can get this voted on and passed.
Yeah, I believe that was.
And then I think the next thing we could do is take a look at it more in depth. And there are I agree, though, that there are more changes that need to be made.
Serena?
Yeah, you had mentioned that we needed a third party to take a look at that. Do you know who would be reviewing it? Are there any suggestions on who we would contact?
Back to Tricia. Yes, we definitely would need to find the right person who would understand us as a deaf organization. If you have any suggestions, I will make note of that. But yes, we do need a third party to review them.
This is Steve wanting to add to Serena's comment about a lawyer, if we could. We want to make sure that we are careful with how the revisions that we make, because we don't want to come into any legal issues as well. So another thing to keep in mind.
Nicole? Nicole, did you want to share?
Yeah, I feel like we don't have enough time to get through all of the business of the board meeting. I think a good idea would be to prioritize like different things, make timelines, policies. We can get all that taken care of. And then I think maybe if we can meet again to talk about other important things like legal issues, fundraising, all of that. I just think that we need more time in between meetings, because I feel like we don't have meetings frequently enough to take care of business. And I think maybe we should meet more to make sure that we can get business taken care of.
Back to Tricia. We're considering that during the summer, not right now. I am overwhelmed, but I think during the summer when things slow down a little bit, we can focus on some other things. But I do want you just to start thinking about the fundraising and the food options, and then so that you can just be aware of what's going on when we come to discuss it in the summer. I just want you to know what's going on in my head and what I'm processing and what I'm thinking about. and share that with me. I do want to move forward to the next time. Sal's last comment, I'd like to move forward to discuss that, or Steve's last comment, excuse me.
Yeah, you were talking about unfinished business for the bylaws. So we do need to take a vote to pass what we already did at the last board meeting. That does need to become official.
I thought we had done that.
We did?
Oh, yes, we.
Oh,
Yes,
I didn't know
we've
that
done that.
It was already adopted. Did Tricia sign that already?
Yeah, I've got a list of things to sign.
Okay.
But yes, that's taken care of. Timeout. Switch of interpreters. Okay, we can proceed. Back to Tricia. The new agenda information that you received in an email, I have signed everything that has been approved with the exception of one, and we need to approve as a group one particular paper. Is the document for the interpreter. I think our video just froze. Oh, the storage and shredding of and disposal of our documents for security purposes. And so it would be very nice if you can all review that, send an email with your written approval via email, indicating that you think that looks okay. And then once we have that, we can submit that one. Everything else has been sent and taken care of. The other item is that all of you need to sign off on a conflict of interest statement. Each person needs to sign off on the conflict of interest statement and send that as an email to Michelle so that she can put those in the file for each one of you. And we will retain that. That's an important document, the conflict of interest, and the confidential document disposal process. So those two items need to be signed off and sent in. One moment. Waiting for clarification.
Rosemary is clarifying what needs to be returned. It will be the one paper agreeing that documents can be disposed of, and then the second signing the other document for Michelle to file away for the conflict of interest form. And Michelle saying yes. The reason that we have that is our bookkeeper is asking everyone to sign these because he's a very ethical person and he wants to do everything by the book. So we want to make sure that everything is done correctly, which I appreciate. And that is why we want to make sure that everyone's able to review and approve so that we can move forward with that and do everything the way it's supposed to be done.
Okay. Nicole.
In terms of that form for being able to shred documents and getting our approval, once we do that, what do we have to say? I approve to, sorry, how do you want us to phrase our approval in the email? And then Michelle also talked about the deadline for the conflict of interest form. Can you please repeat that?
That is now, Tricia's saying, that needs to be done right away. That needs to be done now. And moving to Michelle, the reason for that, for example, previously we had direct deposit for checks. for our payroll. We now do not have that. We now have paper checks until all the paperwork is submitted. And only then will we be able to go back to direct deposit. So the management team has been very frustrated, wanting to make sure we have signatures and everything necessary for paper checks for payroll, but it cannot go back until all the proper documentation is on file. So please take care of it right away. And back to Tricia, I have given a sample statement in the chat. You can take a look at the chat and use that as a sample statement. I approve of this document as it was written. And that's all you need to do. And then back to Serena, I believe you had a comment.
Yeah, just to clarify these things that we need to sign, did you already send it to us?
Yes.
I missed that.
Understood. And it's okay. Michelle is saying March 4th it was sent. And again, now please email, please. You found it, signed it. Thank you. And back to Tricia, yes, those two forms, the ones we desperately need. And that we need to have a collective signature for those.
Michelle
Thank
said,
you very much. And I admit that I did not see it. And then I realized as I was looking through things, I know we get a tremendous number of emails and it can be overlooked. So please find that and take care of that. I myself feel guilty. I confess I overlooked it. I didn't read it. My mistake. The last item on the agenda is new business. And we do have community comments coming up on August the 7th, which is a Saturday. We need to decide the time frame for that day. And Michelle needs to be aware because she is going to be out of town, going to Gallaudet.
yes, I'm dropping off my baby.
Oh, exciting things.
I'm proud and sad.
That is a Saturday, August the 7th. It is a Saturday, August the 7th. And that is the date that we had agreed upon previously back in December.
And Steve saying, it's okay, I can bring my laptop with me.
And what about the time? We need to, and we have to consider, Jamie is saying the difference in time frame between the East Coast and Pacific time. It's.
And then Steve saying he's going to be in
2
South
hours
Dakota. So
is the length of the meeting. Typically 2 hours long.
This is Sal. I would like to say that it's after lunch. Michelle's saying, are you providing lunch?
Well,
and Sal's saying, well, I'm thinking if I could eat lunch and then start the meeting. I think that the food coma will help get the thoughts going.
Nicole, I'll take Nicole. Typically, I think for me, I think I prefer just to be done with it in the morning and be able to go on my day. You may not agree with me, but I prefer to get it over with in the morning and then be able to move on with my day.
This is Michelle. It typically is in the afternoon. We've tried in the morning and everyone's late or they trickle in half asleep. So I would suggest the afternoon. And so Sal wants to eat, but I don't want to see each other eat, or just after, because we may still have supper.
Bring your toothbrushes, everyone, Steve says. And this is Trisha. I am thinking that what we may want to do is start at 1 after lunch. But at the same time, we will have a short meeting and then move into the community comments for the general public. I do plan to bring in a moderator for us for that community comments. I think it's very important because our responsibility is to listen to those comments and to be able to hear those and make notes and respond to questions and concerns. So that's a time that we as a board can sit back and truly listen to the community. And that time is for us to hear what it is they want to say to us. I am also hopeful that maybe we can do some sort of a game. I'm looking for a small donation of gift cards, maybe to Starbucks, different things that will motivate people to come, be a part, show up, participate, and provide some sort of incentive for attendance. So that's my thinking. 12, 1 o'clock. At 12, we could do a working lunch for us as the board and then begin community comments at 1 o'clock. Throwing that out there.
Well, Sam, I think that the gift cards are a good idea, and a game too. It would encourage more people to attend, and also we could get more feedback. I know that it hasn't been good attendance, especially since it's online. I think that's something else to consider. But yes, I do agree with that.
Thank you. And this is Jamie. As far as playing games, I don't know. There is Janssen Cafe and Bakery. I don't know if you've heard of that. That's a location in Merced that is very good. It's Janssen, Jantzen, Janssen Cafe and Bakery. And it is delicious. And there are 3 owners, 3 shops in Mariposa, Atwater, and Merced, and they really do have delicious food. And so we might be able to get a gift card from there. And Tricia is asking, can you go and ask them for a donation? She said, well, I frequently go with my best friend. And Tricia is saying, then please ask if they would be willing to donate. Oh, you've even got a little brochure. It's very good. Michelle?
Yes, I can get you a donation request letter.
Sure, I can do that. Yeah. And this is Tricia. We need to get this sent out to all of the board members. Then you as board members can approach various shop owners and for their donations, gift card donations. And the gift cards are good because those can be sent in the mail, or they can be dropped off at someone's home, but I think they're just a little easier to facilitate. Switch of interpreters, one moment. Okay, I think everything looks good so far. So does that seem, we'll have a working lunch meeting at 12 and then the community comments will begin at 1. Is that agreeable for everyone? Seeing agreement?
Working lunch 12 and community comments would be 1 to what time? So we can request interpreters.
Well, it will be via Zoom. I would say 1 to 3, Tricia is saying. So for the community comments. And that will be via Zoom. And it will be via Zoom, but we will also people will be able to view it via YouTube, and we can make that option available as well. Lastly, Alex, have you seen any comments in the chat?
No, nothing from the community.
Quiet, dead bones. All right, then. Any announcements that we need to make? We're at the end of the agenda. Any announcements? Not seeing anything. Yes.
Yeah, just for the board, if you can help us get the word out for Martha's Vineyard. And then also if you can share with any families who have deaf or hard of hearing children about Family Day. If you can help us get the word out to get people at the event, that would be great.
I'm excited. Sorry, I'm gonna say something. I'm excited because Family Day, I think it's my birthday weekend, right? It's in April 24th.
May 1.
Oh, okay. It's always around my birthday time, so it's gonna be. I was gonna say something like, as a parent who attends those, it made me sad that we're not gonna see each other, you know. So, just know it was like a time for my family to spend time together. So it's kind of emotional. So I hope that it works out good this year.
Clarify the 3 events. Sal is asking, please clarify the 3 events and the dates, please. April 24th is Family Day. Martha's Vineyard will be held on May the 1st. And the job fair will be May the 15th. So there are the 3 events and those dates. So to follow up with Jessica's comment, this is Sal. Family Day will be on your birthday, Jessica. So happy early birthday to you.
Okay, thank you.
And Steve, with a final comment?
Yes, I wanted to make note of Jovette McCallan, who passed away, and send our condolences to the family. He did so much for the community for so many years, and he did great work. So very good guy. Thank you, Pam.
Tricia said, I've known him since I was a little kid. Me too.
This is Pam. I was wondering if Aaron or Rosemary want to talk about Justin Perez. We're having a community performance if they want to advertise the event. Hi, everyone. Switching hats here. This is Rosemary, now representing CCRED, Central California Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf. Hopefully you're able to join us April 30th. It's a Friday evening at 7 o'clock for a 1-hour performance from Justin Perez. This is his name sign, Justin Perez. He is going to be doing a visual vernacular performance. It's also referred to as VV. It is $10 for the performance, and funds go to support CCRAD and in turn support the community at large. So please get the word out. Tell your family and friends, anyone else in the community about the event. Again, April 30th at 7 o'clock. You can look at CCRAD's website. It's ccrad.info. I'll go ahead and type that in the chat. Thank you.
And back to Tricia. Yes, there are a lot of events going on, much coming on this spring. But we are on time essentially, so that is a good thing. And we will adjourn our meeting at 7:06 tonight. Thank you very much.